Welcome, everybody, to the day 142 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season. So before we get into the games last night, we have three things to talk about that happened last night, and then we will get into the 10 games. So without further delay, let the day 142 recap begin. Kawhi, stop it. The rest of us are merely human. We are not robots like you, and I don't know who did your wiring last night, but they programmed you to catch some bodies. Look at this.
Dragic trying to back down Vonleh. Good ball fake by Leonard. Oh man! Someone dropped him out of the roof.
Noah Vonleh realized the instant that he thought about jumping that he was about to make the biggest mistake of his career. So he restrained himself from jumping as high as he possibly could, and he also knew better than to put his arm up, because if he did, his entire career would have ended immediately. But my man's Kawhi wasn't done just yet. The next possession, he was back at it again.
13. And if you notice, when he takes that floater, he can take it all the way out to almost 10 feet. Oh, there it is again. Now this is, can you top this, okay? He just did it back-to-back possession.
Man, I don't care what anyone says. This dude is only 25 years old, and he comes back a lot better every single year. Give Kawhi Leonard 2 to 3 more years, and he will run the NBA. I am telling you that right now. You would think after 18 technical fouls, any rational human being would think to themselves, maybe I gotta chill out. If not for my teammates and being able to play with them on the court, then for my wallets, because this is getting ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
DeMarcus Cousins has spent $55,000 in technical foul fees alone this year.
It's getting ridiculous.
And that's not even to mention all the other fines he's had to pay so far this season as well.
It's really ridiculous.
And like I said, any rational human being would have thought to themselves, I gotta chill out. But that's DeMarcus Cousins' one big flaw. He's an amazing player on the court, the best center in the NBA at the moment. However, his one flaw is that he's not the most rational human being. And he got his 19th technical foul of the season last night.
His tee. Willie Reed was crowding them, and he just pushed him right in front of the official. Willie Reed didn't do anything. And now, you know, Cousins has to be careful. You get another tech, you get ejected.
Willie Reed.
Which bumps his total fine fees up to $60,000, and he's one more technical foul away from getting suspended yet another game. I mean, it was just a little push on Willie Reed, am I right? And then Cousins went over to the refs to try and plead his case that he's not guilty. He was just trying to tell him that Willie Reed's breath stinks, so he was like, yo, you need to stay away from me. He got caught with a tech for it, when in fact it should have been Willie Reed catching that teeth for not brushing his teeth. It's never a good thing when a player says, I just heard a couple of pops, when referring to an injury they had sustained in the game. Well, that's what Dwyane Wade said last night when the Chicago Bulls played the Memphis Grizzlies.
Going off a rebound with Zach and one of our big guys, and get caught up in there in the mix of stuff and sort of a couple pops.
Dwyane Wade suffered an injury to his elbow going up for a rebound. I believe it was in the third quarter. He tried to continue to play, but he said the more he played, the more excruciating the pain got. So that's never a good sign, on top of the fact that he said he heard a couple of pops, and he just said that like it was nothing too.
Heard a couple pops.
Heard a break.
He's having an MRI done on it today, and apparently the same thing happened to Jimmy Butler before and kept him out for an extended period of time. And with only 14 games left in the season for the Chicago Bulls and their chances of making the playoffs looking pretty slim, the best move for Wade could possibly be just to sit it out for the rest of the season. And that's it. That's all the news and stuff I wanted to talk about before the game. So now let's just jump into the 10 games from last night. Kawhi Leonard is a heck of a player. Unfortunately for the Spurs, however, so are CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard, as their combined efforts were enough last night for Portland to get the 110-106 upset win over San Antonio. 36 for Lillard and 26 for McCollum, while on the other hand, Kawhi Leonard had 34 for the Spurs. Some good news though for San Antonio is that LaMarcus Aldridge is alright after having some heart problems last week. He had 19 points and 32 minutes of action. Yesterday was the day that Lou Williams expected Nick Young to pay up on his debts that he owed him. And while I'm not sure if Nick Young paid financially, Lou sure did make the Lakers pay in full on the court. He had 30 points off the bench, and the Rockets absolutely annihilated the Lakers 139-100, scoring 46 points in the fourth quarter. James Harden also had a triple-double last night with 18 points, 13 assists, and 12 rebounds, and Julius Randle was playing well for LA before fouling out. He had 32 points and 8 rebounds. A scary moment in this one when all-star point guard John Wall went down clutching his ankle in the second quarter. He then had to be helped off the court and into the Wizards locker room and was said to have been questionable to return. John Wall is tougher than that though. He wasn't going to let a sprained ankle keep him away from the court, and he still started the second half for Washington. Unfortunately, however, it was in vain, as the Mavericks would still come away with the 112-107 win. Harrison Barnes scored 22, Dirk had 20, and Seth had 19 for Dallas. Whereas for Washington, John Wall had 26 points and 11 assists, and Bradley Beal scored 24. From the beginning to the end, the Jazz had their way with the Pistons last night and wound up with a 97-83 win. It's never a good night for Pistons fans when you have to say that Aaron Baines was your best player. However, for the Jazz, Gordon Hayward, and he had himself a game last night with 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists, and George Hill chipped in 17. Rodney Hood logged 9 minutes for Utah before leaving the game due to knee pain. Hope everything's okay with you, Rodney. Maybe Goran Dragic needs to play with one eye more often. He's still having a bit of trouble seeing after his little incident in the game against the Raptors a few nights ago, but that didn't stop him from coming out the gate red hot last night against New Orleans. Dragic finished the game with 33 points, including hitting 5 triples, and Hassan Whiteside was close to another 2020 game with 20 points and 17 rebounds, and the Heat get the 120-112 win over the Pelicans. Anthony Davis led New Orleans with 27 points and 8 rebounds, and Cousins added 19 points and 9 rebounds. With the way the Wolves have been playing as of late, combined with the fact that Boston does struggle a bit when it comes to containing good big men, this game could have turned out to be a disaster for the Celtics. However, thanks to Isiah Thomas being Isiah Thomas and Al Horford holding more than his own against Karl Anthony Towns last night, the Celtics were able to get the 117-104 win. Isiah Thomas did his usual thing with 27 points, and Al Horford flirted with a triple-double, scoring 20 points, grabbing 9 rebounds, and dishing out 8 dimes. Rubio continues to play well for the Wolves though, with 23 points and 7 assists. You know, the Bulls are probably the most inconsistent team in the NBA this year. Some nights they play really well, and others, you know, not so much. Last night was one of those nights where it was not so much, as they lose 98-91 to Memphis. Though Memphis is one of the best defensive teams in the league, so that could very well explain why the Bulls had their poor shooting. Mike Conley and Marc Gasol both had 27 in the win for Memphis. Conley also had 9 rebounds and 7 assists, and Gasol had 6 rebounds and 7 assists. Meanwhile, for Chicago, Rajon Rondo had 17 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. A huge win for the Bucks last night, as with the narrow 107-106 victory, they now move up to the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. Matthew Dellavedova hit the final shot for the Bucks with around 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining, and the rest just relied on them getting stops. Middleton and Antetokounmpo both led Milwaukee in scoring with 16 points each, and Monroe and Delly added 12 each off the bench. DeAndre Jordan had 22 points and 17 rebounds, while Chris Paul had a rare off night with only 6 points on 2 of 10 shooting. It was a good game in the first half. Not so much in the second half though, unless of course you are a Pacers fan. Then everything went perfect in the second half when Indiana outscored Charlotte 56-35 en route to their 98-77 win. Paul George was the main reason for this victory, as he dropped a season high 39 points on 15 of 21 shooting the field, while Frank Kaminsky scored 20 for the Hornets. The Phoenix Suns drafted Skal Labissiere, I hope I said that right, with the 28th pick in last year's draft, and last night was a night where they wished they could have kept him, as the rookie went off for a career-high 32 points to lead the Kings past the Suns 107-101. Skal also had 11 rebounds. Cauley-Stein also flashed more signs of the ability to be a great center with 14 points, 11 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 4 steals, while on the other hand, TJ Warren had 24 points and 9 rebounds for Phoenix. And that about wraps up all the action for the day 142 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season, and now it's time to get into the player of the day. Yesterday, in the closest voting race ever, you guys selected Russell Westbrook as your player of the day with 25 points, 19 assists, and 12 rebounds. And here are today's nominees. You have Damian Lillard and his 36 points and 4 assists. Paul George and his 39 points and 5 rebounds. James Harden and his 18 points, 13 assists, and 12 rebounds. Or Hassan Whiteside and his 20 points, 17 rebounds, and 2 blocks. As always, you guys can go vote for the player of the day right now. The link to the poll will be in the description box down below. But other than that, thank you once again for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like on it and subscribe if you haven't already for more daily NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting the Bucks, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!